Strap on your VR headset because we're about to transport you into the captivating world of Ghosts of Tabor. Welcome to Tabor Radio. Hey, welcome to this episode of Tabor Radio. If you can't tell by the, beautiful shot we have going on here, we are in person today with Scott and Proper
This
D.
is a rarity.
Yes.
In person's a hard one to pull off.
Well, not only in person with Proper and Scott also together. I mean, to not do this in person, we'd really be wasting an opportunity, to say the least. So we're going to have fun today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with you all, the latest and greatest with Ghosts of Tabor, but there's a lot of good stuff happening today and this whole week at Gamescom. So, Scott and Proper, we don't need to introduce yourself. This is Ghosts of Tabor. This is Tabor Radio. People know who you two are.
Oh, I'm quite sure people know who both these gentlemen are.
Do you two
I'm Proper D. I'm Scott.
Do you want to talk a little bit about, what we got going on at Gamescom? The reason that we're all even here together?
Man. What? We're at the home of XR. Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen happen for VR, XR, MR, whatever you want to call it. AR, XR, I guess is good. But, like, a year ago, we were sitting in a Connect on a bus. It was me and Maiba from Beyond Frames, our publisher. And I was like, I really want to do Gamescom. And she goes, what if we do a Megabooth at Gamescom with all the top studios? And I was like, I'm in. Whatever you need from me, whatever you need me to do, I don't care what it costs, I'm in. It needs to happen. 1 year later, we're here. We're here. We had to fund the lounge. We had to do all the booth. Like, we had to come in and swoop in, and with everybody here came in and just pulled together and made this happen. And we had a cool proof of concept. And I've already heard from studios that just came in and seen it, like Triangle Factory and others, we want to do this next year.
Ooh.
And that means we're going to get bigger and bigger. And we'll finally have proper representation for VR as a whole, period. It needs to happen.
That's like the ultimate, it's kind of symbolic. Combat, Tabor came together in under a year. And then this came together unbelievably fast in a year.
Maeva killed herself. Literally killed herself. She is a rock star. She made all of this happen. She's right there. Actually, she's right there.
Oh, we see her.
She's an absolute rock star and pulled all this together.
You want to come say hi?
You want to come say hi?
No.
I'm saying how much
Come on over, Maven.
I'm talking about.
We're talking about you.
Talking about you right now. About how much of a rock star you are, and that you pulled all this together, and you killed yourself, and you pulled it off.
Thank you.
Pulled it off for VR, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's exhausted.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how it is working booths. It's nonstop.
It's nonstop,
Now imagine
man.
overseeing all the issues and anything
the problem
that
is
comes
dealing with all of our personalities.
Yeah, yours
Especially my
in particular.
personality.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Proper complains a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So from first seeing it to walking in, the first thing that hit me was the statement that's being made with this booth and the people that are in it. So if anything was to be said, it's made a statement of where VR stands. So I'm not surprised at all that you would say other studios have come and said, how can we get in on this next year? I'd like to think that this would be a continuing thing and it'll get bigger and bigger until maybe one day the whole hall, not that I'm wishing that kind of workload on.
Oh my God. What are you doing to me now?
But for what you're doing
did it
for
to
the
yourself.
VR scene, come on. This is something that if you don't see it, you're not going to believe it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even for you guys are the only studio I know demoing. I mean, actually, no, there's a couple doing 2 games. We have 3 games on display with Tabor there. So what's going on this week in the Combat Waffle Studios booth? What do we have on hand?
We'll talk about that. He's been doing
He's-
the work.
yeah, he's-
I'm just looking pretty the whole time I'm here.
Looking damn fine, if I may add. Well, I mean, we've been just running the demos on Silent North and Grim. We've got people just revolving door their way through this. We've got schedules going on all day long, 9 hours, and just introducing them to these two new titles that we're very proud of and very excited for.
2 hell of a titles to introduce them to.
Yeah.
So what's it been like with people hopping into Silent North and Grim? What's the reception been like?
It's been great. The first day was, yesterday. We had the first day Chaos, which was very exciting and exhausting at the same time. People have been very receptive. I mean, we need to remind them that things like Silent North, they're in the very early stages of development. It's a very limited tech demo, essentially. It's to just usher them into getting a feel for what it's going to be like. So the environment and the gun mechanics are there, but it's still single player. It's missing the multiplayer elements, which is what's going to make the game really alive and really magic. And yeah, once people know that, they understand, they are able to share the vision, I guess. And it's been great.
It's like the early days of Tabor. You know, it's like if you went into Ghosts of Tabor expecting it to be 100% perfect, come on, it's clearly in beta, it's early
Not
access.
perfect now. What do you mean? It's far from perfect now.
Your openness, though, to where your games have always been has been never, like, hidden. I mean, I've never seen somebody so blatantly factual about where they're at with the development, and we're going back more than a year ago when Tabor was still on.
He used to tell us he would get mad playing his own game.
Yeah.
I
if
still
there was
get
a
mad
bug.
playing my game.
But
still
seriously,
happens.
that's so big for the community because I think what upsets a lot of people with other games is if the developers don't acknowledge a bug or pretend it's not real or not as big of an issue, whereas I don't know if a bug upsets anybody more than the internal team.
I feel like it was a really early piece of advice Maeva actually gave me, and you know what I'm going to say. If we're just open and honest and upfront, no matter what the situation is, the community will understand and they will hopefully accept it. But the minute you see developers try to hide stuff from the community and not talk about the issues going on and acknowledge them, that's the minute the community turns on you. So, and that was a very, very early piece of advice in our working relationship that I took and I ran with, and sometimes I'm maybe a little too open, but it works for us. And we got great people like Jim here now, too, that help us manage all that crazy stuff.
These are the behind-the-scenes
Jim,
people.
come
Hop
here.
in here,
This
Dan.
is just one big podcast.
You gotta
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
your face in it.
Hey, you want to see a really rare...
I'll give him my
Hi, friends.
You want
Nice
to
to see
see
you
a really rare occasion of 3 people on screen at the same time? Hey, Jonas. Come here for a second. Come here for just 1 second. Just hey,
okay.
pop on and say hi, please. Just
1
time.
minute,
Come
30
on.
seconds.
I need you to just
Don't
say
make
hi.
us move the camera. It's on a tripod. We can do that.
Come on. So if you don't believe it, Jonas is here. Fish is here. Church of
Working
Fish
magic.
sucks. House of Scott for life.
All have fish.
It's not only fish, though. We have a fishling as well, too, right?
You do. You have Alexander here. He's our
Fishling?
lead. He's our he's the lead
He's our guppy.
backend
There we go.
developer. Yeah, he's the lead backend developer on the project. So all the cool stuff that happens with your friends list and your storage and your everything backend related. Him and Alexander code all of that. Like that's what they do. They were doing it here yesterday.
Yeah, I'll say when I first saw them yesterday, laptops open, they're in the Matrix doing their thing, and it doesn't look like they've stopped since they've been here.
No, I won't let them.
Well, the game's still going back home. People are in Tabor right now.
As we speak.
So, I mean, you can't just drop it and move to the next, and that's kind of the philosophy with Combat Waffle as well. It's like you have these other 2 games in development, but Ghosts of Tabor that's the bread and butter. That's always going to get love.
With one of the most passionate communities you will ever find in the VR space.
Were you tempted to, even though everybody's, I think, at this point played Ghosts of Tabor, were you tempted to demo it here as well?
If people can still play it if they want to, they can jump in. But it's more, Ghost of Tabor is the title that everyone knows us for. It's great. It's amazing. It's going to continue developing. But we really want to get people's early feedback on Grim and Silent North. And I've got a lot of good feedback. I think this weekend GT gave me really good feedback that not only it helped me with the game, but it also helped us define how we need to run the booth a little better because he would have came in with a completely different understanding. We failed to tell him, like, hey, this is an early tech demo. And he went in thinking he's going to get like a full-fledged
Missions
Like a
and-
completed project.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, of Silent North. But then you see, like with Grim, I have some really good stuff to take to Spoon, like really good hands-on stuff that maybe our testers aren't giving us. And it's really cool to see all, like right over here, you can't see them, but you've got Nathy and GT and Beardy Banjo, like they're all just like chilling on a grass carpet. Like that's the coolest thing on the planet to have all these people in one spot that can come in and not only do it for us, but they're doing it for Metro, they're doing it for Vertigo, they're doing it for In Dreams, they're doing it for Fast Travel, they're doing it for Flat to VR, Soul Assembly. Like who else is here? I don't know, Patient Games. Like there's so many people here.
To
Like,
be able
there's so many
to
people to mention.
get that real-time feedback from creators and press is-
Cortopia.
Cortopia.
Cortopia's
Yeah.
here.
With
With Down the Rabbit Hole 2.
Ooh, Escaping
Escaping
Wonderland.
Wonderland, which I absolutely am a fan of and I love.
Available September 26th on MetaQuest here in Pico.
That's why he's Jim. Jim does what he
No,
does.
it's a great game. It's fantastic. And you don't need to play the first one to love this one. Like, it's amazing.
That's a proper sequel right there, then no pun intended with proper D either. But speaking of Silent North and Grim, are you able to talk a little bit about when you would like to see those games out in the wild or players playing them, or is that not something you're locked in with yet? Not to throw the hard
Nothing
question.
in stone.
Yeah, so I think nothing in stone. I'm looking at maybe end of 2024 for Grim to go to early access. Hoping, fingers crossed, it all depends on the lovely Spoon. We all know how difficult he can be.
He's been adding RPGs while we're gone here.
He's a madman, man. One of the best developers on the planet. We're very lucky to have him even associated with Combat Waffle in any way, shape, or form. We're very blessed. And then Silent North, I'm hoping Q1 2025 was when it'll go into early access on App Lab, yeah.
So both relatively
Well,
close.
I guess it's not App Lab anymore.
Early access
No.
tag.
Early access.
Early
Early
access
access.
tag. Sorry.
Early
App Lab was the
access.
best.
I will
Rest in
forever call
peace.
it App Lab. I miss App Lab.
Oh, no, I'm with
already.
you.
Yeah. I miss App Lab.
I just give us the App Lab button
So
on the...
soon.
Okay.
Devs are working now. I was in a meeting right before this. I had to go to the daily HQ meeting and catch up on what everybody's doing and popped in over on this. So
Well, that's the other thing. While we're here and you're here, you're still running your business as usual. I'm sure back home people are still doing their thing to keep everything running smooth. So.
yeah, and we've got great people like in charge of the projects like Eli and Spoon, and then we have a new project manager on Silent North, Josh, who's actually Josh. Everybody knows him, Josh VR. He was actually the head of our QA that changed our QA and made us really get deeper and fix a lot of issues. And he's actually been promoted to a junior project lead.
Wow.
And yeah, so we like to promote within. Even Brian Soul, he's assistant media director. Like we promote within. And then Mihai, he's on vacation too. He's our COO, and but he.
I think we'll be speaking with him soon, too.
At the same time, he's on for the meetings while he's in Greece. So it's like we're disconnected, but we're never disconnected. And I feel like we have such a strong team now. They all really know what I demand, which is perfection. No, which is they get my sense of direction for the games and how literally what would I do in sort of a situation or what choices would I make. So I don't really worry that much. Like we have a solid team. We're at 50 people now. I think last time you interviewed me, we were at like 32.
Yeah.
I think you even said, like, we're done hiring, no more.
Yeah, but we had to hire.
Damn it, we keep growing.
You
But
can't
that
help it if you
includes
grow.
that includes like office staff and HR and finance, like because we're getting really large and we're blessed to have a very popular title and we have a lot of stuff happening at the studio. So it can't be just Scott managing finance and HR. I'm HR, like I can't do that anymore. I'm unfortunately in meetings and doing everything else that I don't want to do, but I have to do.
Growing VR to a level that we haven't seen yet. I mean, look at this whole setup. You can walk around Gamescom, some of the biggest studios, really in all of video games, not only VR, obviously, but flat screen. And I don't see another Megabooth like this.
Not with this energy. I've
We have
seen
a
some
full bar.
that have lounges, but it's just people having coffee and maybe two at a table. But this is just an energy pack.
Whoever built that bar, save his phone number because they did a beautiful, beautiful job with it.
Yeah, it's Marcus actually from EXEV. He's local here. Maiva found him.
Obviously,
And
Maiva.
I think everybody knows me. It's my big head, they call it. But I like to make statements.
Yeah, a statement is being
And
made.
statement's been made by everybody that showed up, including the creators and the press. And every booth is just mind-blowingly good looking. Like the graphics on the walls, like the choice of the carpets, and everything. Everybody put so much detail and thought. And then Marcus, when we sponsored the booth for Silent North, I just sent him some pictures of in-game and told him the setting of where it was, and he just put it together. Like, he's great. I think, Maiva, you probably helped a little bit with that. Yeah.
Some interior design.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, hey, do you approve of this? It's like, yeah, I like it.
So we've heard the story of, like, it was last year, you talked about in the beginning, like, let's get all the VR people, but how did that idea even come to you that this needs to be done? Were you just walking around Gamescom and you didn't see any representation? I mean, that's not something you just wake up one day and have an epiphany
I want
about.
a big booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some experience of running booths from my flat screen days. So I've been exhibiting at E3 and PAXs and other venues. But it was really coming into Gamescom last year with a game to show and not finding any good options other than white walls and sticker booths, as I like to call them. And they're good for when you have something that you need to kind of like shove into a tight budget, but we can do better, I felt. And coming from that experience and then meeting a lot of people at Connect last year with a lot of the creators saying how much of a trouble it was finding VR experiences and running around the halls and just to cover content, and this is huge. This is a huge venue. So just putting that legwork in, even to find the titles and the time that takes, is significant. So why shouldn't we be able to do it better? So I had a conversation with Scott on the bus, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this thing? And he was like, yeah, I'll be there. And I was like, okay, I'll connect, and I can approach a lot of people very effectively and just poke them and go like, hey, would you even be interested? And a lot of people were. So
Clearly.
yeah.
I mean, damn. Hey.
Well, I mean,
The rest is
as
history.
it sits right now, my attitude is if you're not in here, you're probably missing out if you have VR going on, because the same problems are going to exist throughout the event. You might not be the easiest to find. This is all
There's
centrally
other
located.
VR here too,
Of course.
besides just the home of
Of
XR.
course.
But are you really going to leave this booth, go out there? You know, it's different when it's all scattered around. There's one in the like Germany and France section, then there's another on 2 buildings away, because Gamescom's a whole fucking campus. So it's like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to get it all together. And for Proper, you learn a lot of new skills on the fly. You go from psychology, competitive gaming.
My doctor. Tutorial
My
man.
ex-patient.
Tutorial man.
Tutorial guy.
Oh,
Making
God.
trailers,
Tutorial
motion
guy.
track trailers. Now you're at a
Never
booth.
gonna
Have you ever
leave you.
worked a booth
Never.
before?
It's been with me forever.
Or is this your first time doing booth stuff?
This is my first time, doing booth stuff. Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of a grind to get those cogs turning in order to learn exactly how to work my way through it. But it's really quite how do I say it? Energizing. Like I leave the end of the day, yesterday, feeling exhausted, but it's like a warm afterglow.
And
when
Scott
I
throws
go
a
back.
bucket of water on you, and then you're good to
in
go.
the morning, and just get out of bed. I've got to do it all over again.
2 more days.
But it's fantastic.
That's
It's
awesome.
a hell of an experience.
Great representative of the studio to have on the front end, personality-wise. I don't think anybody can speak bad about Proper D, and if you do, you're probably in the wrong in whatever you're complaining about. But a whole bunch to talk about with what's here. I mean, this is great stuff. You're probably going to see creators posting stuff throughout the weeks and stuff like that. But going back to Ghosts of Tabor, never ending with updates and content and fixes. You go, in your mind, the game's not perfect yet. So
I don't think it'll ever be perfect to Scott, but that's just a guess.
can we?
It's no different than Spoon with Grim.
Yep.
Right? Like,
No, yeah.
But
No,
that's
the
why you hired
passion's
him.
real.
That energy, you recognize that in people. You go, that's the guy I want on my team. But speaking of Tabor, are you able to talk a little bit about what's in the works for coming updates in the future over the next few weeks?
I think I can. Yeah, okay. I have to check with the boss.
What's good about having her right here? We get the
Hold
official
on,
seal
check
of
with the
approval.
bosses here.
This is like having an attorney team at your side before you answer anything.
If at any point you see her hand go over,
Yeah. I'll just kick him in the shins.
Don't worry, I'll put my hand over this if we need to. It's fine. Yeah.
I'm really excited about a few things. And probably the biggest one is the new mission system. And we are currently in the works on that. That's actually what Jonas and Alexander were working on yesterday when you saw them here working.
I thought that there was a technical issue, like a networking
Well, there
thing.
was, not here, but there was a technical issue back home. And the developers were sort of blocked by some failed back-end API calls and stuff of that nature. So they got on and they smashed out like 7 bugs that were blocking them in like an hour and a half. And like, you're good to go. Then this morning, first thing, like, oh, we found another back-end actually on live. And they fixed a bug on live back-end and just sort of smashed it out and rolled it out. Like, that's the beauty of this, having this team that we've built. But so the mission system is going to change everything about the game in my mind. It's no more of the, kill 10 Phoenix, kill 2 players. It's mission-specific missions. It's storyline-specific missions is what I meant to say, not mission-specific missions. It's storyline-specific missions. So Yuri's going to tell you to go get something for him or leave something somewhere in the map for him. And maybe it affects the relationship with Sean, because they don't get along well if you sell something to Sean, but not you can either sell it to Sean or Yuri, and you sell it to Sean, and now Yuri's mission level goes down as your rep level goes down because you didn't sell it to him instead, but vice versa with Sean. Leave stuff for him, find different things in games, collect certain stuff and give it to this certain trader. Still, we'll have some of the kill missions that you need, but it's massive. We hired a game designer, and he just created a novel of missions.
So it's safe to say Tabor is going to start going in still a great direction, but it's definitely going in another direction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're working on like a gun skin system where you can paint them on your guns. Like you buy, it's a DLC obviously, but you can get camo guns now to help you hide a little better, and you can take a paint gun and spray it, and it applies it to that gun that you have. If it's a skin for that specific gun, we have so much stuff going on.
Insane.
I mean, there's a ton. Like,
I love that mission system because now you're going to go in and it's not just about kill and extract and loot whatever you can. You're going to go in specifically like, I need this gun or I need whatever the item in is. It forces people to do different style runs than, they'll, do
Just
on
run
their
and
own.
gun. Yeah.
That's insane.
yeah, it's going to make you play all the maps. You don't just get to be a silo rat anymore. You don't get to be an
That's
island rat
amazing.
anymore.
Okay, so this won't just be specific to each location. Okay.
No, like, so the missions will be like, hey, go to Silo and do this. Go to Matka and do this. Go to Matka Night and do this. So it's going to force you to play more evenly. And I think the other cool thing, giving back to the creators is we're coming out with a DLC pack here. Again, DLC, but we're not going to make any money on this. Just so you know, people are going to complain. But we have creator charms coming out. So you'll be able to get a charm pack for starting off with 12 creators. And there'll be a charm pack where you can represent your favorite trader and a charm that goes on your gun.
So it'll hang right off
hang off the gun.
That's
yeah,
epic.
Yeah. And
That's
it's just sort of
pretty
give
cool.
back to the people that have helped build us.
So if you're not making money on it and
Um,
someone buys one, what happens?
I mean, be honest with you, we've invested so much in pre-buying the likeness and the rights to use, there's no way we can make money on it.
Okay.
We made sure that they got paid hefty before we ever did it. They made a really good amount, and there's just no way we make money
So
on
there's
it.
no ROI on it. It's just,
There's not
it's just
ROI.
a give back
It's
for
just
the.
a give
That's
back,
huge.
yeah. And we're going to do a second round as well in the future if it goes well. And the creators and the community seem to have vibe with it really well, and we'll do some more creators like a rough talk charm or something like that in the game.
Well, there's
Maybe we'll hit up Nathy over there and see if he wants a charm.
There's Tabor specific creators these days, like Timeless. We got Timeless.
Timeless
VR.
is here.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a camera guy. I don't know if he likes his.
Timeless VR. Oh
It's
my
all right.
gosh.
The headphones and the
So he's
headset,
really
it
good
burns
at
your-
what he does. He's just not good at listening.
Oh, take Jim's spot. This is Timeless, everybody. Everybody knows Timeless VR.
One of the biggest
This
Tabor
is-
creators these days.
Yeah, he's
Hello?
hello. Yeah, made his career in Tabor and is driving strong, right?
Yeah. That's a great example, though. I mean, how big is his channel these days? Pretty much primarily from Tabor.
Absolutely. Almost fully from Tabor.
Insane.
It's insane.
Insane. So we've seen, not only the existing ecosystem of creators become a thing, Tabor-specific creators are popping up, and you're not ignoring them. You're not taking them for granted. You're giving back to them. That's huge. Not many games can say that they've done a creator-specific DLC pack, if any, that I can think of. Whose idea was that? Was that you?
That was me early on, and I thought my CFO was going to kill me when I made the suggestion. But we did it anyway, right? Just like sponsoring all of this. She's like, "Excuse me, what?"
Yeah.
But we did it anyway.
we have
So,
bills
yeah,
that
yeah.
we got to take care of.
we have to keep money in the bank, right? Like we can't spend everything. Yeah, we can. Sure, why not?
So does this mean that we're going to see a little bit of lore come in the game with the mission? Because
Yes.
that's always been something that people have kind of wanted, but it's not something that's been interested in.
I hate the word lore.
Yeah, I know. And that's why it's kind of shocking to me.
But no, it needs it. It needs to drive Tabor because at the end of the day, the basic story is something happened in Tabor and the Ghost and the Volk were already there on a mission and the nuclear night happened and they blame each other's governments and now they're trying to the mission is to figure out who started the nuclear night. So maybe you find out one day when Tabor is finally done, we introduce a story arc that brings you to a close. And maybe a Grimlock rocket takes off in the distance of a map when you load in. You never know. You never know because these are all in the same universe, right? Just set at different time periods. So the Tabor multiverse is a thing.
I've already seen people speculate like it was Tabor, then the nuclear apocalypse caused Silent North, but people escaped to
Silent
Grim
North is actually set in the 80s, 1980s.
Oh, okay.
Tabor is set in 2044, which is for sure. Now it's all canon now that I'm saying it. And I believe Grim is set somewhere. I've asked again, but I believe it's set somewhere in like 2,500 or 3,000.
So
I have another
people
game
start
set
to
for 3044. So we'll see what
I won't
happens.
push you on what that is, but
No,
when
no,
you're
no,
ready
no,
to talk about it,
Don't
you
do it.
have the mic. Do it. Yeah, don't do it.
I'll
'cause
tell
might-
you. Don't tell him. Don't ask.
There comes the Mava hand. There comes the Mava hand. That's awesome.
Brain's forever going. I don't see the universe slowing down anytime soon. I mean, we've made one big hit. As long as we keep listening to our fans and our community and making what we love to play as gamers and remember where we came from, I think we'll continue making great games. It may not be the hits of like Tabor, but I think they're going to entertain thousands of people, and this should be your ultimate goal at the end of the day as game dev. I got a message the other day talking about a guy messaged me, and he said, I was in a wheelchair. I got in a bad car accident, and I was having a bad time, and I discovered VR, and you put the sit-down feature in your game, and I was able to continue playing Tabor that I played before, and I didn't think I'd ever be able to play Tabor again because I always stood up, and there was a seated mode I never even knew existed, and it was like, by the way, Tabor gets me through, like, my days, and, like, that kind of stuff, man, like, just as
it's powerful.
That's had problems, you know, man, like, sorry. Just seeing that you, as a game developer, your job should be and your goal should be to want to touch people's lives in a positive manner and help them escape a shitty reality they may live in. Because we don't live in the best set of circumstances every day. I for sure haven't as a human. So knowing that we were able to do that, I could die happy. I'm done. Take me out now. I'm good. I'm good to go.
That's beautiful. That's powerful to have that impact on people. I can't imagine. And it's only going to continue as other completely different style games like Grim and Silent North become a thing. They're all completely different play styles, you know, completely a survival Rust style game, then Silent North and Ghosts of Tabor. It's completely different, and it hits different niches of people, which means that's just more people that...
And you all love Grim. I hear you all talk about it all the time. Every podcast.
We had it on PC VR.
Yeah. I do that because I know Spoon listens.
Yeah. We're all listen, by the way. Like, I see the comments like, I can't believe you have time to listen. Like, I listen on my drive to work, or I always try to listen to the podcast. Like, I see you post them, and I'll go listen to them later. I rarely comment until you start asking questions. I'm like, well, shit, I guess someone should answer them.
I like you're like, yeah, you can buy the cowboy hat again.
Yeah,
so, I went in there, I bought 5 of them ready to go. I roll into every run with a cowboy hat.
We're just humbled that people with schedules that are busier than most people would want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Or people hear the nice intercom, have the time in their day to actually, whether it's playing in the background or not.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
I mean, that's huge.
And
for sure.
The Combat Waffle people are busy today, so we won't take up too much more of their time, but take advantage of the fun we're having here for sure, right? Since we got Timeless here, too, I figured this is a good opportunity. Timeless, you're probably one of the better players. I can hand him my mic, too, that way you can hold yours. Probably one of the better Tabor players at this point, or at least one of the more popular. I always love to ask the team tips on how to play. How about from one of the best?
Tips, I always tell people the same thing. Like, Tabor is not an easy game, right? It takes time to learn the mechanics. That just comes over time, but training raids is a great feature that you guys have added long ago. Training raids help you learn the basics, kill some Phoenix, get the basics of the gunplay. I always just say it takes time. A good quote from Mason is "Don't get discouraged." It's a rough game.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta stick to it.
But that applies a bit even with Grim too. It's like you go in, you're probably gonna know nothing. Embrace the figuring it out.
Exactly.
I get wrecked in Grim every time I go in. That bear, screw that bear.
That's how he died today.
Screw that
the bear got
man.
you. The bear gets everyone.
So I think something cool you brought up was about a feature you asked me earlier was training missions, but we're actually introducing at Next Wipe a standalone new bunker, new character, completely separate from your online player. You'll have a PvE co-op mode to where you can play with your friends, just PvE. You don't have to worry about other players. And you'll have a whole new bunker set, new player, and it doesn't cross over with your other characters. So you'll actually have 2 types of characters you can play. So you and Dad don't want to play against other players at night. You can just go run some raids, and you want to learn, let me learn the missions a little easier with another person. You can just run in and do the missions in your single player. Yeah. And
are there still going to be loot drops out? It's going to be still the
same game.
Okay.
Just no other players.
Okay.
New character that doesn't cross over. And it'll be a DLC, but we're not going to do the Tarkov thing, right? Where we're going to say it's a DLC, so Founding Fathers and Independence Edition will still get it for free.
Yeah.
So
it needs the disclaimer.
Yeah, we have to say it now, right? Yeah, it's already happened. I posted about it earlier, and
which is crazy because originally you had made it known when you buy this one, you will get all future DLCs. But yeah, I know every time a new DLC is coming.
Are we going to get that? Like, yeah,
is that included if I got the original one?
Yeah.
So it's always good that you will confirm now.
And is that
Yeah.
something you're going to present for PSVR 2 players when it launches as well? Some addition that comes with DLCs, or not able to talk about
Not
that?
talking about PlayStation VR 2 right now, ever again.
Understood.
No, and I'm just joking. It's still coming. Calm down.
Yeah,
they're going to freak out. They're going to freak
crazy.
out. No, PlayStation VR 2 is still in the works. We're still working hard on it. We're partnered with VR Monkey. They're grinding it on every day. We're currently QAing it, working out some bugs, some Sony TRCs is what they call them. We're getting through it, and I'll be happy to see it come out. Soonish. We're still projected to come out like really soon. So I know the PlayStation community is a very loud community because they are very underrepresented in the VR space with games, but it's still coming. I promise.
They need good games to support their...
For sure.
I don't see this, and I'm not knocking Sony by any means, but I don't see the same level of support for the developers that I see necessarily from Meta. And I'm seeing like them more rely on like, hey, here's the platform. We need you to provide us a good game for you to make your money and for us to sell the game. It's just a bizarre... I would have thought of a more of aggressive strategy from a company like Sony, but at least people like you are willing to invest in that for the gamer.
It's hard to swing against Meta, though, right? Because Meta loves VR, and Meta, honestly, from all experiences we have, they love developers, and they want to see good games come to their platform and continue to expand, and companies continue to grow from 8 unknowns to 50 people in the space, right? They want to see that miracle story happen, because I think they still realize that they're a gaming company when it comes to Meta, and it's really cool to see how much they do support us, and they support everybody that comes through the door. So I know people have complaints about Meta, but there's nothing really bad I could say. I have nothing but positive things. Their headsets continue to get better and better and better. And one day, I think very soon in the next few years, you're going to see a PC VR level graphics headset come right out of Meta, and it's going to blow everybody away. And I think people like Sony and Steam should take lessons from people like Meta.
I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm already hearing Spoon saying, no, it'll never be better than PC.
He's wrong.
No, you know what?
You know how hard of a fight was to get him to agree to go to Quest?
Oh, trust me, I believe it.
It was like going 12 rounds with that bear.
Whoever
it was
does your art
ridiculous.
on Grim, they deserve so much credit.
Sophia, Paris, Chin, and now John Arders. They're the whole environment art team and 3D modeling team. They're amazing. The new pistol that he just put in was John Arders' first model he ever did for us. Found him at another one of these people that come right out of college with no experience, but the professor says, hey, this is a really good guy. You need to look at this guy. And Sophia is like, I know this person, interview them. And he's another unicorn of people that probably would have disappeared and worked. I think he was working at a bagel shop and was just graduated high school and couldn't get an interview back. And we get introduced to the kid, and it's like, you're a unicorn. Like, what are you doing? Why are you working at a bagel shop? Just like Patty and all these other guys on Tabor that we found and we just brought in. There's a lot of people that are just so underutilized. They come out of these schools that are so amazing, but because they don't have the experience of the professional industry, people overlook them. But you see it happen every day in every industry.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many unicorns out there in the world just not doing what they want to do and what they love because people just won't give somebody a fair shot. Give them an art test. Give them a comprehension test on the subject, and I bet you find so many people that are rock stars just hiding in the crowds.
I think the problem with unicorns is they don't know they're unicorns.
They don't,
and they need someone to really.
They don't
let them know that
Patty
they are.
Still
talented.
doesn't know he's a unicorn. He's very humble. Most of them are very humble people. That's a good thing. They keep their humanity. Like I said, like with the board, I got asked, forgot who it was. Like, so how's it feel? You did this. Like, I make the joke, and then pardon, I still shit my pants like everybody else. Like, I like all of us are still just normal guys, and we hang out. Like we just went to Sweden together with Jonas and like just hung out like normal dudes for a week and bummed it in hotels and went out too late and ate too much horrible food and like we're still just normal people every single day. Like you can't lose track of that, and that happens a lot in the industry. You see, this guy hasn't blown up. His head hasn't blown up at all. Like he's still timeless, the same timeless. When he had one follower, he's still there, over 100,000 followers. And you have to keep that. If you lose that, you'll lose sight of who you are and your future, and it won't go through. As long as you remain true to yourself, you're good.
It's great advice, and the truth is I'd never met Timeless before today in person, and first thing, he walks right up to me and sticks out the hand, and I'm Timeless. I'm Timeless VR. So, I mean, the quality nature of your team, the people that support your games, it's showing. But you give so much to this community to keep doing this. I mean, sure you weren't born to play Ghosts of Tabor, so you stumbled on it. But real quick, because I just want people to know the story, what's a little of the backstory that got you to Tabor to get you to where you're? I mean, were you a streamer since you were younger? You're obviously not an old man, so.
No, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I made videos when I was like super young, 10, 11, playing whatever. Obviously, they didn't take off, but before Tabor, I racked up probably a few thousand subs, had a decent little channel, posting some other VR stuff. Tabor, I found out from a friend who said, hey, there's this new Escape from Tarkov in VR. It's coming in alpha soon. I was like, oh, cool, check it out. A few months later, it came out in March of last year. And I was a senior in high school. And that is when I first started playing the game, right when it came out. And it just took off from there. I made it to a point where I said, okay, I've planned to go to college my entire life, but this is kind of a good opportunity. So within just a few months after graduating high school, I went to college for 1 week, and I decided that that's not going to work. So I dropped out.
Love it.
And now we're here. So
Well, you did, in fact, go to college.
I did for 1 week.
The length you go to college doesn't matter. I mean, you can go for an hour or 4 years.
Yeah.
You went to college.
You're an alumni.
I did.
But you're also a humble human being. You know what I'm saying? You don't come across with any sort of ego like Scott mentioned. It's just awesome to see the success stories that a game can bring people who aren't part of the game, but you're bringing the game to. How big's your channel now currently? Estimated?
160K on YouTube.
It's going to be 200K by the time this comes out.
Dude.
That's insane. That's to be one of the biggest VR channels in general, too. You know, I know there are bigger, but that's up there. That's got to be in the top 10, 15.
Him and VR, like him and VR Central, maybe you're like probably
And
the
VR
two
Central
biggest,
just
right?
blew up as well, too.
For VR.
VR in general.
Yeah, I mean, well, Nathy.
Yeah,
There's some
definitely
very
some big
large
dogs up
creators,
there,
yeah. But for growing as fast as you did, you'll be at 200K before you know it.
It's crazy to think.
Maybe even by the time this comes out. So I know this is Tabor Radio. You know, we talked a little Silent North. We talked a little Grim, but I know she's busy. She's got to run in a few, but I figure while we have her.
She's looking at the clock.
Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit what Escaping Wonderland is? We teased it a little bit in the beginning. You said down the rabbit hole too, but maybe somebody just got into VR a year ago. You know, what exactly is Escaping Wonderland?
So I think one of my guys demoing had the best explanation for it, and it's the Alice in Wonderland MCU basically. So Down the Rabbit Hole was the original title in 2020 that our studio Cortopia created. So Escaping Wonderland is a freestanding continuation kind of at that, so same vibes. It's a very easy magical fairy tale told in VR, giving you all the best VR interaction and a great narrative and a lot of challenging puzzles. If you're a super experienced puzzler, I think you will still get something out of the game by experiencing the environment and kind of like the unique controls with it. But if you're really new to VR or you would like to introduce somebody into VR, I think this is a really, really comfortable and safe title to do that in.
Get your wife into it, your kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Who doesn't love Alice in Wonderland, right? Like that theme. So
Exactly.
I mean, it's going to be
The vibe.
Yeah, it's going to be a good hit. I think for sure. And that's coming out next month, right?
So September 26th, MetaQuest Store and Pico.
Ooh,
Yeah,
exciting stuff.
Did I hear Pico as well?
Yes, Pico as well. Yep.
Right out of the gate.
Yep. Day and date.
This is why the word rockstar gets used, by the way.
Beyond Frames has made such big moves. I mean, especially since getting Ghosts of Tabor. I mean, that's like the cream of the crop now. But with other Combat Waffle games coming out, Cortopia Studios, you guys are crushing it this past 2 years.
Thank you.
Really established as one of the premier publishers.
One last question for Maeve. Is it going to come to PSVR too?
Unconfirmed so far.
Now you're going to see PSVR when. PSVR 2
yes,
when.
thank you
every,
for that. Thank you.
On every top comment of everything,
Get overloaded like me. Have fun.
Well, they need it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some of the footage, and again, I'd like to see PSVR 2 succeed, but it's only going to succeed from the development side, not the company side that made the headset for you all to fill it with games, which again might be a little backwards to how to do it, but it's just good to know there's going to be some quality things coming there, and hopefully that's one of them.
Absolutely. So this has been so awesome to have everybody in person. Really won't be
I
once in a
wish we coulda
lifetime.
gotten them,
I'm
but
sure
we won't
one to
strong
see it
arm.
happen again next year. Plus other opportunities to get together. But man, I feel like we didn't hear enough from Proper today. The fine English, the fine English voice here. So
New episode on Ghosts of Tabor Radio, maybe with Duncan.
with
Did we
Duncan,
do one?
Yeah,
It
we
was
got
like
Duncan
a year
on.
ago.
We
It
got
was
Duncan
more
on
than a
before.
year ago.
We should do a new one.
Should do a new one.
I bought a new mic because of that one because he had that nice DJI mic right here. You could only see this little square, and I was like, oh, it's a great mic for travel and stuff like that. But what have you been up to, Duncan? You're the tutorial guy, the everything. What are you doing these days for Ghost of Tabor? All the same?
Yeah, I've just been, we've been split into 3 games. I've been focusing mainly on the Silent North trailer recently, and it's what you've been seeing play up there. And yeah, I've just been growing the team, helping Soul and Z learn the things that I spent a lot of time and blood and tears learning myself, just trying to facilitate things as much as possible so that we can grow as efficiently as possible.
One day he'll be a proper Z and a proper
he's got
Soul.
his own talent. He's got his own magic. I think that's what really is synergetic about this. I'll teach him something, and then he'll immediately teach me something that I didn't realize, and it's just the 3 of us growing together. It's amazing.
Love it.
It's great.
Anytime we ever ask the Combat Waffle team about themselves or try to give any hype, you all just always defer it to the other team
To
members.
someone else. Yeah, never
and
take it themselves.
There's no egos,
From the
no
owner
nothing.
to anybody else.
It's the Spartan way. I mean, we're doing this for the, shoulder to shoulder. It's for the person standing next to
Come on, I saw the little bro hug at one point too. So
Me and Proper get to hang out. We got to hang out a lot this year.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. We went to Sweden twice this year together. We went to London. Then we had a really sketchy flight with Jonas with Infish coming in and had to go to Brussels.
Yep.
Because we got stuck in Stockholm. So then we powered through it like a 2.5-hour ride on the Autobahn all the way to the
I've never seen Fish
Cologne.
happier.
He was so
Who
happy.
was in the driver's seat?
Jonas was.
fucking
Yeah,
floored
yeah. He was like, you want to go? He's like, you want to go fast now? And he just stepped back, and we managed to struggle 200 kilometers an hour out of like a horrible little Audi Q2 SUV, and it was just boom, right at 195. It just started chugging. We're all sort of rocking to go faster.
That's awesome.
We hit 200. He was very happy. Yeah.
So even with minor change of adversity, you still find a way to have the most possible fun out of it.
Yeah, we had a good time. We went out to we had dinner in Brussels and came here. It was a good time. Yeah.
That's the Combat
I feel
Waffle
blessed
way.
that we've been able to see both these gentlemen in the past 3 months twice now, so that's
Yeah.
huge.
Look, let's be
Likewise.
real. The first time we had Scott on our podcast, you guys were already making a big name in the industry. It's not like we were there from when it was alpha, nobody heard of it. You guys were already pretty established, or at least establishing when we talked, first met. But it's a whole different beast today in 2024. You guys are so big. Look at this. Look at all this. This is insane, and it's not yet hit its peak. So this is amazing. And, usually we go about an hour at
Well,
45.
hold on. Before we wrap up, there's something that's sitting behind me, and I don't know if it's
Oh.
okay to show it or not.
We'll show it. Yeah, we'll show it.
Pull it out.
So we're actually gonna release this.
Oh, this is a good one.
We're going to release this along with PlayStation VR 2 release, but it's official Tabor branded bHaptics logo vest. So that's coming soon from bHaptics, amazing partners. I think Duncan, you've worked for bHaptics for a long time ago when Duncan was a content creator promoting their stuff. Yeah, we went out to dinner with them last night. They're
That's
amazing
awesome.
people. I lived in Korea for 2 years, so I'm going back next year to visit their facility and see them.
Such nice people.
And I used bHaptics X40 when I played Contractors OG competitively with Duncan. Love their stuff. And the moment we had a chance to sign on, we're like, let's do it, man.
Hell, it's a-
bHaptics, just having bHaptics in your game is cool, but being a partner of bHaptics, as OG VR gamers, that's an all moment for
Dream
us.
come
It's our
true.
little kid moment, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, your company name on the bHaptics. That's
Yeah.
We met some of the team from them yesterday, and they knew who we were, and I was like, oh, my
Yeah,
God.
man, yeah.
I was like, I can't believe it. I was coming over to introduce myself. And
There's something, they say when I was an agent and stuff, they say never meet your heroes, but I can tell you in VR, that statement of never meet your heroes does not ring true. Everyone here, it's such a small community. Everyone's so genuine. I had Techman sitting in the booth earlier. He's standing over there. And he was like, oh, y'all getting ready to do something? I was like, you're absolutely crazy if you think I'm kicking Techman out of my booth.
right.
You're insane, brother. You keep sitting down on this red chair. You go nowhere. Have fun. It's cool.
I think the verbiage of never go out of your way to meet your heroes is because your heroes aren't what they come with. They're not what they appear to be. They're all fake, either actors or musician, where you're genuine. You know what I'm saying? You're not calling bullshit. Straight shooter. Like it or love it, this is what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. So appreciate all you do for us, but more importantly, for the industry, for all of VR.
Oh, changing VR as we know it is what's going on here. And it's not just because of a single game or another game. It's this whole being part of this. There's no doubt.
The men, the myth, the legends, the Combat Waffle team. So thank you for all you do. Before we wrap it up, anything you want to say? Or
Yeah, I mean, it was really quick. Timeless had talked about earlier. He went to college, and he's like, this isn't going to work. Like, so someone started a company when I was 15, and I've always had this motto, you don't ever fucking not chase your dreams, don't give up. And sir, I am very proud of you for what you did. Like, very proud of you. Never giving up. Good for you, man. Good. And that's an example you should learn by. Yep. And I said it to you too. I'm so proud of a father and son duo in VR. Like, and that's why when we're like, hey, you want to do Tabor Radio? Like, we're doing it with Rough Talk. Like, I have such a relationship with my father. My dad's my hero, like I've said 100 times, and you all get to do that together. Like, my dad works at my company, and like just knowing that he works at the company is like amazing. Like, so when your hats and your shirt and your merch get shipped, like that's my dad,
that's your pops.
My mom's helping him do it because he's not really good with computers.
Yeah,
but that's them. That's my pops pushing all that stuff out, and that's a cool feeling that you all get to have. Like,
love it.
Good for you. Like, as a dad,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, I can't. I've said it before, I wish I had, and I have a good relationship with my father, but I don't have the relationship I have with my son like I do with my father, and I wish I could have.
Yeah.
So it's special. I'm
Absolutely.
blessed.
So appreciate all this. This is powerful stuff a couple times in the interview, both at the end and halfway. So this was amazing, and hopefully we get to do more in-person Tabor Radio episodes soon.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely, boys.
Stay tuned for next one. Next month, going to be remote, but,
Is that Mihai?
Yeah, we'll have Mihai.
Mihai's our CO. He's going to have a good time. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. He's Romanian, but he's very proper British. It's really weird, and he's got a weird British accent.
British Romanian.
He's a British Romanian guy. It's
I'll
off.
ask some questions on that. We'll figure that out.
Awesome.
So
see you,
thank
boys.
you all, and
Thank
see you
you,
next
guys.
month.
See ya.
Ciao, ciao.